Hey everybody, my name is Jacob Deaton and welcome back to another episode of Southern Wedding Professionals. And today I have two really cool people to talk to. You get two people to talk to and listen to today. We've got Vania and Martine from Love and Story Collective, and they are a photography duo that needs no introduction in the Atlanta area, but to you, you might want one. So again, thank you guys so much for being here, and tell us a little bit about yourself and introduce you.
Oh man, where do we start? So I'm Vania and Martine. We do Love and Story Collective here in Atlanta. We've been doing wedding photography separately for too long. I probably started in like 2009, and Martine probably just as long. So we have quite a few years behind us, but we just connected and joined forces almost this time last year.
Well, for the business, for Love and Story.
For the business, officially.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll go back into the origin stuff in a second, because I definitely want to get the background on both of you, as far as like how you kind of got to here and everything. But let's actually start with what caused two wedding planners with two separate wedding planning businesses to come together and join Love and Story Collective.
Well, for me, it was born out of, so particularly like with wedding photography, it's pretty intensive, both on the back end and the front end, and you always need a partner anyway when you're shooting weddings. So, Vanya and I were both, trying to get our own weddings, and then we were shooting for one another, and it really didn't make any sense. It was like, why don't we just join forces and, put all of that into the same business instead of two separate ones. So.
Yeah, and we ended up shooting so much for each other that we just learned that we worked really well together, and it made sense to kind of be able to give our clients sort of an elevated photography experience that maybe not everybody is able to do, even with a second shooter or even with a partner, because of the many years that we have together, and also because our styles are just different enough to be able to complement each other.
Well, I mean, I've been at my fair share of weddings for 15 years, and seeing, when a photography crew is like really in sync. I mean, maybe to the layman eye, you might not know, but like they know if you've done weddings, you know exactly what moments to grab at the right time. Like, and I'm like visualizing sort of the ceremony in this particular case. What shots are crucial to making sure that bride and groom is happy whenever you hand them back your photos at the end of the day. So like, I mean, having somebody that you've already worked with so closely sounds like this marriage just kind of made perfect sense.
Yeah, definitely. We can read each other pretty well, and particularly during ceremonies, all I have to do is look at her a certain way, and she knows to move, maybe to the left or to the right.
Well, I think even more so than that, it's at this point, like, I can sense when she's near to me. So if I am in the way of a shot, I always kind of like look behind me to make sure that I'm not like elbow out, or my booty is in her camera or something.
Right. I mean, and I'm sure that you've had to work with people before, like in the past, where you felt like you had to tell them every single little thing that you had to do, and just having somebody that you communicate with, like you're saying, like almost cerebrally speaking, it sort of just makes everything easier. Like,
right.
So when you guys decided to join, how did you come up with the name Love and Story Collective?
You
Oh.
want to?
No, go
So
ahead.
yeah,
Did I
yeah.
find something saucy here, or
No,
No.
no, no. It's just funny to us. So we had a wedding in like south of Macon that we were driving to. So and it was raining, so we were stuck in the car together for like 2.5 hours.
And there was an accident. We got stuck in
Yeah.
an accident. Yeah, so we were like almost late to the wedding.
And starting a business together was something that we had kind of toyed with, kind of suggested to one another, but we really hadn't like cemented that this is something we were definitely gonna do. So anyway, so as we're talking in the car, we were like, well, what would we even call a business? And we like threw out tons of names. Um, but then and everything was kind of like two parts to it because there's two parts to the business. There's me and Vanya. So I think one of them was like we started out with like lace and something or whatever. But we decided that love and story really represented like who we were as a team, you know. Um, like we like to tell these epic stories through our photography, but we also want to incorporate like all the love and the that natural romantic feel that comes with weddings. So,
Yeah.
that's kind of
And one of the things too that we've always loved about our clients or about our relationship with our clients is that a lot of them have become a part of our family as well. And we have been able to tell their love story from engagement down to like first kid, second kid, family reunions, whatever have you. And it's just been nice to kind of been part of that love story. So it made a lot of sense to kind of call it love and story.
yeah.
I love it. That's a beautiful name. Uh, I was definitely taken whenever I got to your website and I saw how well presented you were, which is obviously why I asked you to be here. But I thought the name was really thought provoking and super awesome. So hats off to you guys.
Thank you.
The
That's how much.
Let's get a little origin here. So maybe Martine, let's start with you, and like let's start about like how you got into photography and what sort of like maybe crucial moments along the way pointed you into the direction of getting you to now.
So my mom, it goes back to my mom because my mom always had a camera around. She like has old. It was always like the old like kind of more beginner cameras, but like a Kodak Brownie and like stuff like that from like way back in the 60s. Anyway, so she always had a camera around, and so it was just kind of like part of our lives to like you know take pictures and that kind of thing. So when I went started in high school, um, my 14th birthday was I wanted a an SLR because at the time it was film, not digital. and I started working like in the yearbook and taking a photography class, and then I actually went to school for photography in college. Decided that maybe I wasn't going to be able to make as much money as I had hoped, and switched to business and got a business degree. But then, so fast forward like a few years later, and I've had my first child, and she's gorgeous, and I'm taking all these pictures, and my friends start saying, "Hey, will you come take pictures of my kid?" Like, and of course, I'm not really gonna do that for free so much. So that's how my business came about, and I really started just families, and it wasn't until I'd been doing that for like 3 or 4 years that I started taking on weddings.
So how did the wedding evolution sort of happen for you? Was it just like you're taking pictures of kids and families, and then all of a sudden these families start getting married, and they're like, "Hey, you come shoot our wedding? Do you do weddings?" Is that kind of the
And actually, so my best friend from high school got married. And I was like, as the wedding gift, I was like, hey, let me shoot your wedding, which they were like, yes, because that would be a huge expense.
right?
Um, so once I shot their wedding, then a few of their friends were like, hey, like, why don't we talk and have you shoot our wedding? And from there, it just grew, everybody starts referring them to you, and then there's your business.
Wow.
So,
Well, that sounds pretty organic, and obviously the business background really helps, right?
yeah, definitely. Having gone through school and just having an understanding of like what it takes to actually run a business from the back end really helps. just keep it going, especially like right now, you know.
Exactly, right now, and we'll get to right now too. That's
Yeah,
that's,
it
that's
is.
like an unavoidable topic with everyone
Right.
I speak to, and everybody's answers are always different. I can't wait to find out about yours. But Vanya, give me the background. How did you get into this wild, wild world of photography?
Oh boy. So my journey in a way to get to here is a little less organic than Martine's. Hers like makes perfect sense. Mine didn't, because I started working in photography forever. I did it in high school, and then I started trying to make a business as soon as I graduated. And I don't know if I necessarily was successful or knew what I was doing straight out of college. And especially in a time when these kinds of resources of like Facebook and social media and Instagram and workshops and virtual things were not a thing. So I kind of made it work. I went to college. I also did photography, but the whole time I did everything under the sun. So soon, once I got into college, I started working as a second shooter for a couple that were doing weddings, and they were similar to us. They needed someone else to kind of start expanding because it was a husband and wife team. And that quickly dissolved. They ended up getting a divorce, and I was kind of left in the lurches. I spent like almost 2 years with them, and then was like, well, I know how to shoot and I know how to deal with weddings, so let's go. I'm going to take on my own weddings. And again, I had no clue about running a business. So I lasted maybe a year. I had some clients that wanted a lot for very little, and I did not know how to handle a lot of situations. And I quit wedding photography. I was like, I never want to see it again. And so fast forward, I worked in publishing, I did fashion, I did families, I did literally everything under the sun. I did like book covers. And then a friend of mine needed me to replace her to work for Martine as a second shooter. And I was like, all right, fine, I'll do it. And this friend had been telling me how great it's been to second shoot. You don't have to worry about the business. You get to just do like lots of fun stuff and someone else gets to handle. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. And yeah, so Martine and I hooked up, and she and I clicked right away. And then I kept shooting for her, and then I started getting my own weddings again. And then, yeah, it basically ended up to this, which I feel like I've been conned a little bit because I tried to run away so hard from wedding photography and really like thought I would get the easy way out. And instead, I'm like a business partner with her. So
You just loved me so much.
Ah, I love that. I love that. It's like Hotel California. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
Yeah.
she'll never let me. Never let me.
I feel that. I feel that. I feel that. That's cool. I can definitely share more of your story with being involved with the wedding and event industry in my own personal life. So that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
And also, I see where your fashion comes from now, because you got, for those that are just listening and not watching the YouTube channel, she's got some really trendy, awesome glasses and a really trendy printed shirt here. So, so make sure you check out the YouTube channel. Quick plug. Very, very cool. Let's talk about once you guys joined forces and you guys sort of decided on a vision together. Like, what were the next steps? Like, did you guys implement like some like super amazing marketing plan, or did you just like, how did you get the word out about that you guys were joining forces and that the world should know and hire you specifically?
Man. Sorry.
What happened? Because
No, I'm just trying to think back. I feel like it's been like 10 years since this happened. No, we did some promotion, but I think a lot of it was really organic in a way that a lot of our clients, because we had been working together, shooting each other's wedding for 2 years more.
Try 5.
5? See, I don't know. What is time now? Um,
Time
so
is a
for
bad thing.
5 years, so for 5 years we've been shooting with each other, and so our clients kind of already knew our style. And honestly, all we had to do was switch the name and kind of make announcements and just let people know, and then transition our clients, the ones that we have been shooting, to share of the new name as opposed to the old names. The other thing that we also did that I think kind of helps to solidify our slightly new vision was that we did some styled shoots that spoke more about the kind of work that we wanted to take on. And that's one of the things that we love about style shoots, is that it could be our vision, it could be our style, and we just put together a team and execute sort of like what we want people to hire us for in the future.
So the style shoots that you're talking about are not just wedding specific, I would imagine, right?
The
Well,
word wedding.
yeah,
Okay.
Go ahead.
yeah, the ones the ones we did were wedding specific, simply because that's where we're, our brand is. So,
Mhm.
um, to get those out in publications and on our website, like that's what we needed.
So like, on your website, it mentions that you do weddings and like, other events and stuff like that. Like I assume, obviously, because of the branding, that wedding is the vast majority of what you do. On a percentage scale, like what could you maybe tell our listeners, like how many weddings you do versus like how many maybe corporate events you do, or other things, like, I don't know if you're still doing, like the family photography thing, you know? Is it all, I mean, is it pretty much all eggs in one basket here?
So I would say that we probably events is only about 10% of our business. For the most part, it's birthdays and bat mitzvahs and bar mitzvahs and that kind of thing. As far as like the family photography, we both have our separate businesses for those niches. Vanya does primarily like more boudoir and fashion, and I do like a lot of the family and newborns and that kind of thing.
Okay, all right. The fashionista steps up again here with the boudoir. That's cool.
You get saucy.
Well, I mean, your look is just so saucy to begin with. I mean, it's like, it's obviously an extension of who you are, right?
It is, yes. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think that's also part of any brand, is the image that you put out there. They want to see that you look put together if your brand looks put together, and you want to see that you are a little eclectic if your brand is eclectic, or a little saucy if your brand is a little saucy.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, so tell me how you guys are adapting in this 2020 world that we all wish never existed. Like what's been sort of like the pivot moments for you guys to sort of keep relevant in the industry, and also like just in top of mind with clients and to people that normally refer you?
Whew, yeah, so this year has been really rough. This was supposed to be our year to kind of grow and expand our team, and instead it's taken a bit of a backwards turn in a way. So we have launched what we call Champagne Vows as an extension of Love and Story, which basically means that we help you put together a dreamy, intimate wedding venue, and with vendors that could bring everything together. So while some elopements tend to be sort of like on the cuff, let's meet somewhere, let's shoot, let's be done, Champagne Vows brings together vendors that will provide decor, that will provide music, that will provide flowers, to kind of give an elevated experience and still make it memorable, despite the fact that 2020 is awful. So, you can still have something beautiful, even though this year is not what you expected or planned for.
So in this like Champagne Vows like package that you've got, it sounds like it's pretty scaled down and maybe meant just maybe for the two of them, or is it like beyond that?
We try and keep it to like 10 to 20 guests, especially with, guidelines. We want to try and keep within whatever guidelines particular state or county has issued, or city. But really it's meant for like really intimate, like just you and your very close family and friends.
I mean, we'll Zoom it for you. We'll set up a Zoom and make it look real nice. With mics and everything, so everybody hears everything that can't be there. But we try to, just be safe for everybody and kind of scale it down significantly.
That's a really great pivot point, because I feel like the virtual thing that we're in right now, I don't know how you feel about it. I'm starting to realize that I think this is here to stay. I think like these types of packages being a part of, or being offered are sort of here to stay for people. Say they would normally fly from San Francisco to, Atlanta for you to do, an event or a wedding. And maybe they're like, well, I can't be there, but can you Zoom me in and I'll just hang out with you for a few hours? It seems like parallel universes that have like converged, but are still going to sort of, exist moving forward. What do you guys think about that? What's sort of like your vision on that?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that we will be seeing more of that going forward for couples to be able to offer that. I would like to see more of a Zoom than with cell phones in the aisle, if that makes sense. So I'm happy to, set up a Zoom for somebody and therefore still have somewhat of like a no cell phone policy for the couple to be able to enjoy their photos and not have cell phones everywhere.
Right. Yeah, the cell phones is like totally the worst thing to capture in when you're trying to capture photos. I can't tell you how many photos I've seen of couples, and it's like they've got this really amazing shot and all you see are the little lights from the phones, and you're just like, oh man, if they just like put it down and just like not felt like they needed to be the photographer. Like, you're here, let you be you,
Yeah.
My pet peeves are always the ones that are literally in the aisle, like with hand outstretched to be able to be
with the iPad
or an iPad.
iPad, yeah.
Oh,
that's even worse when they got the big iPad out. You know what I mean?
Yes. So, any of our brides listening, please, no cell phones.
That's right. That's right.
Trust us.
It's an epidemic and it needs to stop now.
It's a different
definitely.
We need to stop this.
Hey, this is one that we can really easily stop. So.
Yeah.
You say that, but then like we have so many weddings still where we end up, having an announcement and people still pull out their cell phones. So, I guess people are gonna do what they're gonna do. I think that's the thing.
But let wedding photographers be wedding photographers. 2020.
Yeah.
My slogan. I'm making that T-shirt on T-shirt right after this is over with. So tell me, like, looking forward into 2021, has a lot of your business sort of like picked up and moved to there? Have you felt like that consumer confidence has been pretty strong as far as brides and grooms still wanting to make plans for 2021 and including you in it?
So I would say 2/3 of our business picked up and moved to 2021.
Very commonly.
Yeah, and that's, it is what it is, and we're happy to accommodate and, roll with it. I still feel like business is definitely a little slower than it normally is for booking for the next year.
Sure.
I do think people are still kind of hedging their bets, still kind of waiting. They just want to kind of see where things are going before they jump in. We have a lot of like people who inquire but just aren't ready to commit yet.
Right.
Or people who are taking much longer to make those decisions. So, they come back to us a good while after the initial inquiry.
I think a lot of couples are I think there's so much uncertainty leading up to the rest of this year, honestly, that I think a lot of couples are trying to make sure that things are going to be a little calmer into the new year before they kind of book things. And I don't blame them at all.
No, you can't. I mean, you're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars invested.
Yes.
And, as a consumer, you want to make sure that you're getting a good deal. But also, I think in this time, a deal that is good if this continues to get pushed back farther and farther. So like, are you guys, obviously you're working with a lot of your brides that are currently existing, or that were already on the pre-COVID, but like, have you guys like, you know, offered the thing that will reschedule with you, like wherever you go, or is it just like a sort of like a refund policy? Like, what do you feel like is working best for you guys?
Definitely, we feel like what's working best is to just go with them and forward their deposits to the new date if they're rescheduling. A lot of couples are doing like the smaller ceremony on their original wedding day, and then having their scheduled wedding day as like for the next year as like their big party to kind of celebrate. So we haven't had. I mean, we haven't really had anybody who we've had to refund completely, simply because we've really tried to work with everybody and accommodate whatever their changes are. Um, you know, so I think in that respect we've probably been pretty lucky.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I honestly, I mean, it's just in a time like where we just don't know what's going to happen. It's just really cool to keep hearing people say, we're here for the long haul and we're here for you. And that seems to be the general consensus across the industry, with which that I've experienced so far. So you
Yeah.
guys are like right on par, um,
yeah,
right on par with that. So tell me a little bit about like pivoting just a little bit. Are you guys very specific to Atlanta? Have you guys done many travel dates? Do you offer travel dates? Do you want to go across the world and take people's photos? Or are you
I
guys?
What
mean,
kind of question is that? Of course.
I'm
Who
baiting
wouldn't
you.
want to
I'm baiting you.
travel?
That's what a good host does.
Oh, I miss traveling.
yeah.
No, I'm actually a big traveler myself. My family is from Bulgaria, so we go and visit and travel through Europe or whatever. At least at least every other year, if not, more frequent. So I love traveling. And while I haven't done any weddings necessarily like in Europe, we do travel within the United States a little bit. We've done weddings in California, North Carolina, Alabama,
Maryland.
although that's Maryland. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we've we've been around.
That's
And we're
cool. And
happy.
is your like marketing and advertising plan sort of like, is that like part of it, or is it just something that just pops up? Somebody from here wants to go there. Is that kind of usually how it works when they like you so much they want to take you with you? Take them with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of it is
Yeah.
like from Atlanta to somewhere else. Um, but our plan was to be able to expand and actually offer to whoever it is for us to travel, and then 2020 happened. So I guess we have to revisit that sometime after next year, maybe.
Well, I mean, wouldn't that be a really, I mean, to me, as like somebody thinking about one day wanting to get married and hopefully maybe hiring you guys to shoot my wedding one day. Um, but I got to find a girlfriend first. The thought of going somewhere and then having literally a photography crew like document the whole journey. I mean, how cool
Yeah.
is that? It's like a modern day vlog or something.
I think that would be awesome. I've often thought about even just going to another city and sort of having like a full long day of exploring a city or exploring a location with the couple and just taking awesome photos everywhere and just capturing those moments. I don't think that's really done too much. Yeah, and I think it could be really beautiful and really fun for everybody. And you just get tons of awesome photos.
I mean, that's like the style of like what's happening on YouTube, or I mean, it was sort of the original style of YouTube, like literally vlogging your entire day.
Yeah.
And for someone to do that, like just side by side with you along the way, like to a destination wedding up until the big moment. How cool would that be? Do you guys also do like video services stuff too, or are you only photography?
We're only photography. I mean, we both like dabble in video, but it's not something we're really equipped or willing to offer as a service at the moment. So,
Right.
you know,
Yes, I mean it's totally fine. I mean, so many people do so many different things, and so
yeah.
it's nice to nice
But
to
one of the things that we do also have is a really handy Atlanta vendors guide for whether you book with us or not. It's on our website and you can kind of check it out for any of our brides too, or any brides in Atlanta to kind of check out and get an idea of some really awesome vendors in Atlanta that can kind of get their planning started with. And some of those on there are videographers that we love, that we recommend highly. So definitely check it out.
Yeah, so like just for everybody here, like while they're listening or watching, like how many what kind of vendors do you have? Are they just like all across the board, like
Yeah,
caterers?
everything.
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 Cool.
Everything. Venues, caterers, officiants, music. Yeah.
Florals, decor, planners. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. The community is in a huge. It's a very important part of what we do.
Absolutely.
And because we all work together, and it's important that like we all support each other or give each other opportunities to to just be known, so
Yeah, we find definitely like having community support and being supportive of others in the community. I mean, not only is it like great on a personal level because you have all this support in the community, but it's kind of how you keep your business going. Getting those organic referrals and just and it helps you work better at weddings, especially if you know vendors and those vendors have worked with you before. It's more of like a seamless experience, for the bride. So
right.
the groom.
Well, tell me something. I want to get into more things about you guys that sort of make you tick. Like, what are some things that we'll start with you, Vania. Give us something that we wouldn't know about you, or that no one would really necessarily know about you from the surface, that might be interesting to someone that's listening.
Ooh, I don't know if our clients, for example, know what a massive nerd I am.
Tell me about how nerdy you are. Let's get nerdy.
How nerdy. Oh boy. So because of my work in publishing, I've been stuck in publishing for a long time. So I'm a massive book reader. I read sometimes, I think in the past couple of years, I've read at least 50 books in a year. I love comics and graphic novels. And in fact, here's something many people don't know. I'm actually working on writing my own graphic novel right now. So that's fun. What else? So for those that might be wondering if I'm Star Wars or Star Trek, I'm Star Wars. Sorry, Star Trek fans. Some of my good friends are like more Star Trek fans than I am. So I'm like, sorry.
Is that a dividing line? Is that like a thing that's like everybody's like, you're either this or that, you can't be both?
Yeah, it's almost like you're either Nikon or Canon and we cannot be friends.
I see. All right. Well, then I won't tell you what camera I'm using right now.
Oh, that's all right. Are you Sony?
Yeah, it could be the outlier.
Oh, okay.
No. But yeah, I think that's one of the things that I'm just really, really nerdy. And we've had a couple of really great weddings in the past year, a couple of years that have been super nerdy. And I'm like, I'm here for it. Let's go. So yeah, I love those clients of ours because we had like one of our very first weddings Martine and I did, actually a very small little wedding, was with Darth Vader there. And it was very Star Wars and it was hilarious.
Oh, it was on May 4th, so it was May the 4th be with you. Yeah.
Yes, I did a May the 4th be with you wedding too, and they had cardboard cutouts of all the different main characters in various places throughout the
Yeah.
entire space, and then they did a lightsaber send off, so everybody did the lightsabers. And what else did they do? We had to play the Star Wars theme in the middle of the night at some particular moment. The band even played moments of like Darth Vader's like theme song, and like we had to learn like these like little segue moments, like just to like bring the party back to focus that, like, we're getting married here, but the real reason we're here is because it's May the 4th and we're celebrating May the 4th.
Heck yeah.
It was awesome. I had such a great time, and
Those are so good.
I would
I love a good themed wedding.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I would love to see more niche things like this come about, and sort of become a thing, because it just invokes like the personality of the couple that you're serving, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you, are you Star Wars or Star Trek?
Oh man, I see this. The equivalent to this in my world is like the Beatles and Rolling Stones argument.
So which are you? Are you Beatles or Rolling Stones?
I'm, honestly, as I've gotten older, I've learned to appreciate and love the Stones. But I started as a Beatles boy, and I will always be a Beatles boy. But as far as the Star Trek and Star Wars, I'm not used to being interviewed. I don't know how to handle this. Okay.
That's the question.
This is very hard for me because I grew up with Star Trek. Like, Star Trek to me was like one of my favorite things to watch with my cousin. We would all get together, or me and him would get together out of the family. No one else got it, but me and him totally were super close. Shout out Chris Deaton, wherever you are. We would watch Star Trek episodes, and we would watch the old school Star Trek. We would watch the Next Generation, which eventually became like my favorite. But then I found out about Star Wars, and it's just, I mean, the story is what I like about Star Trek is that it's so singular episode-y,
Yeah.
Very little tie over. It's just like everything kind of it's like an episode, whereas like the Star Wars is like a really long experience. So, Chris, I'm sorry. I think I'm more of a Star Wars guy now.
Yes.
So you got.
No, I agree. I think that's one of the reasons why I like it is that there's the full arc of a story, and you can kind of follow as opposed to like little episodes, which are fun if you have time to kill. I know one of my friends is going through like all of the seasons of Star Trek, all of them right now, and it's never ending. So they have lots to binge.
Plus, Princess Leia. I mean, come on, she was smoking hot. I mean,
I have hots for her. It's okay.
Yeah, totally a fan of her. Oh man! All right, so Martine, tell us something that we don't know about you that we should know.
That you should know.
Yeah.
So I would say that, as far as like influencing photography, probably like that. I love the outdoors. Like, I garden a lot. My husband calls this my she deck because it has all my plants.
She deck.
I don't have a she shed. I have a she deck.
but does he have a he deck?
No. This is mine. It's my space. I'm bringing it out to the world. It's a new thing. We're gonna call it a she deck.
Yeah, I love it. It's starting something new right now on just in case everybody wanted to know where the origin of the term she deck came from. Southern Wedding Professionals.
That this is part of it. I love to garden. I love my plants, and because it gives me even another excuse besides this, being out shooting families and things in gorgeous locations and that kind of thing. It gives me a chance to be outside and like work with my hands. I don't know. I like vegetable gardens and flowers and that kind of thing.
I was
So
going to ask you, is it more like growing to eat, or is it just growing for flowers? But it sounds like it's a combination of both.
yeah, it's both. I always used to beg my mom when I was like little. I wanted to have my own garden. And of course, she wouldn't let me because she knew it would just die. So, so like I guess I'm like going back to that and like trying to get what I didn't get when I was a kid that I wanted badly, kind of thing.
Sure.
The other thing probably is that I love music. My husband plays guitar, my daughter sings, my dad plays piano, and so that's like a big influence in my life. And like in my head, there's always a soundtrack going on. So like especially at weddings, like sometimes I hear certain songs and like for no reason at all, they'll make me tear up because it just makes the moment feel so like right, you know.
And
So,
in the meantime, I'm like dancing up against her.
Of course
She's
you are.
like, I'm having a moment, Vania.
Yeah.
stop.
Oh man. Well, what bands are you into? Like, what's really tickling your fancy these days?
Right now,
Yeah.
so we've been listening to like a lot of older stuff.
Okay.
Like a lot of Fleetwood Mac. Yes.
Have you done the trend where you're drinking the cranberry juice?
Oh, I love that guy so much. Like, I just think it's just so random. He picks up this big, huge thing of ocean spray, and I just love it. I should definitely do that, but
Fleetwood Mac is kind of amazing, and honestly, I think I like them better now than ever since Mike Campbell, the old guitar player from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, like once they kicked out Lindsey Buckingham for the second time, like I'm like they hired him because at one point Stevie Nicks was going to leave Fleetwood Mac. She actually went to Tom Petty. The whole story is like they did Stop Dragging Our Heart Around and all that stuff, and then she was like, hey, I want to join Tom Petty, like your band full time, and he was like, I don't know about the girl thing, and but like she hired, since Tom's gone now, R.I.P. to one of the best, they hired Mike Campbell to come in and play guitar. And to me, the guitar sounds and just the playing in general has never been better. So like I'm kind of like reinvigorated on watching like live clips of Fleetwood Mac now. But
yeah.
Side
Yeah.
note for everyone at home that wants some insider music drama knowledge. Not a lot of people know that she tried to leave Fleetwood Mac. If Tom Petty would have said yes, she would have left Fleetwood Mac.
That would have changed things.
It would have changed. It would have ended everything. I mean,
Yeah.
Me. Vania, what music inspires you? Like, what's on your playlist right now? Let me guess. Is it Dua Lipa?
No, not so much. I'm trying to think of like I tend to be all over the place. Like I tend to go from like Beatles, Fleetwood Mac to whatever's like current and somewhat poppy, but not really. So I'll tell you my big song for the summer was, oh, this is going to sound so awful and I can't believe I'm saying it, but it's actually really good. Is Miley Cyrus's new song.
Okay, yeah.
Really catchy and really good. And it has such an old 90s vibe to it that I'm digging. So yeah, I definitely recommend at least having a listen to that. But yeah, I tend to be all over the place. Mostly like high energy, and because of my home studio and shooting boudoir, it's a lot of like Lizzo, some Beyonce, whatever gets my ladies in the zone to be sexy.
In the zone to be sexy.
Yeah.
What's the opinion on the new Taylor Swift record? Did anybody listen to it?
So my favorite one is 1987. I'm going to say 87,
yeah.
Whatever it is.
Great record.
That one seemed so experimental and different from anything she had ever done. And I didn't really love much of anything else that she had until this last one. And again, because it's so different from anything she's ever done. And I think it was perfect for the pandemic. It's just mellow, it's just chill, it's very like a little groovy. It's just perfect for the pandemic. So
Right.
I dig it. I'm a fan.
Yeah. I mean, she's Taylor Swift. I mean,
You can't hate on Taylor
you
Swift.
can't hate her.
T Swift is still out there, still being relevant. I thought this was like her most artful record that she's put out yet.
Yeah.
And I guess by artful I mean not necessarily pandering to sort of what's like mega popular, or like the tradition. Like it was not a traditional record for her. Just sort of like it kind of made me think of like the moment that Emmylou Harris did Wrecking Ball with Daniel Lanois, and like it's like all these like weird soundscapes and stuff, but it's still Emmylou Harris's like amazing voice that is a country and folk sort of legend, but then it's like this weird sonic space sort of happening underneath it. I kind of feel like that's her Wrecking Ball record anyway.
Yeah.
And if you don't know that record, everybody at home should, after they finish listening to this podcast or YouTube's, they should go check out that record.
Yeah. I'm always impressed and have more like love for any artist that decides to go and try something that is out of the norm or experimental or just different. A lot of times we approach our photography the same way. So I'm like, kudos T Swift. You go do that thing. And it's just like she didn't tell anybody, and she was just like, I'm just gonna drop that in there and
Right.
you guys are gonna love it. I know, it's okay.
I love it. That's it. That's where it's at for me. Taking chances. Being. That's like my mantra.
Yeah.
Move fast, take chances, go for it. Learn from your mistakes. Your decision making will get better, but move fast, go for it. That's like totally who I am to a T. So I resonate with that. Go T Swift. Okay, so let's talk about some more things that we've touched on some real cool personal things, and there's a few more things that I always ask everybody because I like to really get a nice perspective of PR. What's favorite? Okay, last meal on the planet Earth before you move on to the next life. What is it?
Okay.
So let's hear it.
It would be the CEO burger from BurgerFi. I don't know if you've ever had it.
I haven't. Where's that at? Tell me where that is. I need to go.
So BurgerFi, I don't know. It's a chain. They have them all around Atlanta.
Okay.
But they have this burger, and I believe it's made from like Wagyu beef. But it has what is it called? It's like bacon and tomato kind of not like a chutney but something like that. It's like a paste.
Oh.
And and they put it on the burger, and then it's got like Swiss cheese and a special sauce. But it's just really freaking good.
It's all about special sauce.
Yeah, I think From the Earth Brewery has a version of it as well. I think.
I love From the Earth.
Yeah, I love that. It's so good. Like I've never had anything there that I was like, this is gross.
I've known one of the owners of From the Earth for probably 12 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're really.
Now I need to go.
Oh, you need to go. I mean, it's like literally not that far from me. So, and they have a great space to eat outdoors too.
So all of you who don't know who From the Earth is, they're an amazing brewery in Roswell, Georgia. Shout out Tim Stevens and the whole crew. They've been supporting live music through this whole thing and putting on like parking lot concerts.
Awesome.
Their whole staff is, like been holding on strong through this whole thing, and they've been doing all sorts of really cool community events, safely, of course. And I really feel like they've sort of, been a great service to the community in this whole time thing. So shout out From the Earth Brewery. What about you, Vania?
Oh, that is a good question. I'm not sure. I always think like I would want some like really good Mexican food because that is like one of the few things when I travel back home I cannot find. That's good. So maybe something Mexican, maybe some good tacos. But there is a really good, if anybody's been to Decatur's brick store.
Oh yeah.
Really good. It's such a good restaurant. Great beer too. But they have this one dish that if it ever goes away, I will riot. It is pierogi primavera, which is just like Russian pierogies. They're like ravioli stuffed with potatoes. It's like really good. But they have this sauce and these vegetables on it. It's really good. And then I'm a sucker for anything tiramisu. So you give me a tiramisu dessert with it and I will die happy. It's okay.
Right.
It's good.
Now I know. If I want to go on the good side, I'll just send some like homemade delivered tiramisu to your doorstep, and you'll just be at my beck and call.
Yes. So Martine, if I'm ever mad at you, this is the way to like wipe it clean. Just send me some tiramisu and we're good.
Does it have to be like restaurant quality or like you good with like Publix, you know, like anything. All right.
Listen, it's important in partnerships to know each other's love language, and obviously yours is tiramisu.
Mine is tiramisu. Yeah, accurate. I mean, honestly, like I'm such a sucker for tiramisu. This is so ridiculous. I've had it in a drink form. I've had it obviously in a dessert. I've had it in cookies. I mean, like you name it, I will try it. Some are successful, some not so much. But
so what is it about the tiramisu? Is it like the mascarpone, like, or is it like the coffee, or?
It's the mixture of the coffee and like the sweet, like light cream. Yes. There you go.
I mean, are you guys both coffee girls, or are you a tea?
Oh,
coffee.
We're coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee all the way.
I've met one tea person, and I about fell out of my chair when I finally did. out of all the interviews that I've done so far, I've met one tea person.
Although Martine is somewhat British, so I'm surprised she's not more tea person. But
right.
I don't like tea.
Is it because you're British?
I'm a traitor.
There it is.
Your poor mom is like, Martine.
The inside scoop. Do you guys sports at all? Are you guys into sports at all?
Not like we'll watch it. Like it's, you know, we don't really follow any particular sports teams unless they're like hometown teams, obviously.
Right.
I watched the Braves last night.
Yeah, me too. Go Braves.
Woo. I mean, like, let's keep this going.
Rio, give us hope.
I know, like something's got to happen good this year. Like maybe they'll win.
Yeah, they're being up 2-0 in the Dodgers series. By the time this episode comes out, we will have our fate decided. But the odds are in our favor here. All they have to do is win 2 out of the next 5 games. That's it.
That's it.
They got to win. The Dodgers got to win 4 out of 5. And I'm
ready.
Baseball is my favorite. Yeah, I know, right? Go Braves. Mix it up.
I think it'll be exciting. I think it'll be like a big thing for Atlanta if they get to the World Series.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, even if they don't win it, just Atlanta getting to the World Series would be amazing. Like that would be a huge lift to the city in a city full of mediocre sports teams.
The Falcons are okay. The Falcons are okay. They were good.
They can.
The Falcons are a tough subject for me.
Yeah.
They're Bears. But they'll get it turned around eventually.
Yeah, they were so close.
So close, and then they just choked. Plowing ahead.
I'm not arguing with that.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. So in closing here, I just want to I want to go over just a little bit about like some of the packages that you guys offer. So make sure you shout out the website. Let's go through some of that formal stuff, and then we'll just so everybody can know what you've got to offer. Ready, go.
So we
No,
Fine.
I'm just joking. Where's my tiramisu?
Send it later. So we offer 1 and 2 photographer packages. We typically we have 1 8-hour package for each, and 1 like 10 to 12-hour package, which is really for like full wedding day coverage from like the moment they get their makeup done till the moment they get in the car to leave. And the 1 photographer for 8 hours, that starts at $2,500, but it includes like your engagement session and a wedding album, and of course like our service, and we help you set up your day of timeline for photography and shot lists, and all of that is included. And we spend a lot of time talking, getting to know our clients and working with them and making sure that their day is going to go as well and as smoothly as possible. So do you have anything you want to add?
Well, I was going to say, for especially right now during pandemic time, we obviously, as mentioned before, we have champagne vows, and those are, I believe, 2-hour minimums. Obviously, it could be longer than that if you want. But yeah, so we start with that, which is a good option for those that want something special and beautiful, but obviously can't get that done right now, considering
Everything.
the times we live in.
Yeah. Right. And all this can be found, a lot of this information, I believe, can be found on your website. I think it's loveandstorycollective.com/investment. Is that right?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Numbers.
But yeah, I was just going to say, even just going on our website, you'll be able to see a lot more of not just our work, but what we're about. Again, our vendor guide is on there as well, for those that are kind of need some guidance to find. It could be anything. I mean, could it be if you're looking for specific vendor, like a DJ or something, we have recommendations for that as well. So
cool.
Check it out. But yes,
I think that's just so cool. For this episode, I think we're good. Everybody, thanks so much to Vania and Martine for coming out and being a part of Southern Wedding Professionals. And we thank you for listening, and we will see you next time. And I will see both of you at From the Earth Brewing sometime in the near future.
yes.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, until next time, I'm Jacob Deaton. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you later. Bye.
Bye.